The Forgiven is a 2021 drama film written and directed by John Michael McDonagh, based on the 2012 novel of the same name by Lawrence Osborne. The film stars Ralph Fiennes, Jessica Chastain, Matt Smith, Ismael Kanater, Landry Jones, Abbey Lee, Jennings, and Christopher Abbott. Elizabeth Eves and McDonagh produced the film under the House of Un-American Activities label. The Forgiven had its world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival on the 11th of September 2021 and was released in the United States on July 1st, 2022 by Roadside Attractions and Vertical Entertainment, and was released in the United Kingdom on the 2nd of September 2022 by Universal Pictures and Focus Features. The cast includes Ralph Fiennes as David Henninger and Jessica Chastain as his wife, Jo Henninger. Jo and David arrive in Morocco. They intend to attend a party at a friend's luxurious estate. During their journey, they accidentally hit and kill a young Moroccan boy with their car. The incident triggers a chain of events that forces David to confront his past and Jo to question her marriage. Matt Smith as Richard Galloway, David and Jo's friend, who they are travelling to see, who is throwing a huge celebration over a weekend. Landry Jones as Daly Margalis, Richard Galloway's partner. Ismael Kanater as Abdallah Tahiri, the father of Driss, the boy that David knocked over and killed. Saïd Taghmaoui as Anwar, Abdullah's translator and interpreter. Christopher Abbott as Tom Day, a rich American friend of Richard and Daly's, who forms a close relationship with Jo over the weekend. And Mourad Zaoui as Hamid, Richard Galloway's assistant and butler. The film was announced in May of 2018 to be written and directed by John Michael McDonagh, with Ralph Fiennes, Rebecca Hall, Mark Strong, and Saïd Taghmaoui set to star. Filming was intended to begin early in 2019 in Morocco. Landry Jones was then cast in January 2019, and in December, Jessica Chastain entered negotiations to join the cast, with filming now set to begin in early 2020. Principal photography began in February 2020. In March 2020, production on the film was halted due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In September of 2020, the shoot resumed in Morocco after a 6-month pause and completed its production. Some interesting trivia notes. Ismael Kanater, who plays Driss's father, was a prominent Moroccan theatre actor and director now living in America, whom one of his fellow cast members described as the Al Pacino of Morocco. Lawrence Osborne, the author of the book The Forgiven, has a brief cameo near the beginning of the film as an older man in sunglasses seated in the lobby of the hotel where Jo and David stop on the way to Azza, who uses his cane to lift the skirt of one of the young girls standing nearby. Matt Smith previously played a younger version of Ralph Fiennes in the movie In Bruges. Although his scenes were deleted from the final film, In Bruges was also directed by Martin McDonagh, the brother of the film's director, John Michael McDonagh. The souvenir that David, Ralph Fiennes, takes from Driss's room in Dalek from the television show Doctor Who, in which co-star Richard Matt Smith was, of course, a main cast member. The villa where the weekend party takes place is actually a composite of 3 separate locations. The spectacular fireworks were real and not CGI, and the actors seen filming them were doing it for real on their phones. This is the second collaboration between Jessica Chastain and Ralph Fiennes. They starred together in Coriolanus in 2011. Now, one of the most remarkable aspects of this film is the performance of the actors. Ralph Fiennes delivers a nuanced portrayal here as David, a man struggling with guilt and denial. David starts off as a very cynical, jaded and grumpy man, but as he goes on this journey now of self-discovery, he reaches a sort of sense of enlightenment and understanding, and almost atones for his earlier sins in his life. David is a truly fascinating and nuanced character, and Ralph Fiennes brings him to life absolutely perfectly. Jessica Chastain as Jo is equally immersive, conveying her character's eternal turmoil and desperation as she questions her own life's decisions and her own marriage. Matt Smith is also superb here as Richard Galloway, the arrogant and suave owner of the villa in Morocco. Richard, of course, is openly gay in the film and almost sort of in some ways spits upon the culture of Morocco, albeit that the contrast is that he should be free to be who he wants to be, but he's also choosing to live this way in a country that is ultimately poor and conservative, creating a disdain amongst his staff. Landry Jones also stands out as the volatile, unpredictable American partner to Richard Galloway, who plays into the over-the-top stereotype. I also thought it was a particularly stunning performance here from Ismael Kanater as Abdallah, the father of the young boy that was killed by David and Jo. He's very stoic in his performance, but it's his eyes that he does all his acting with, holding back his anger and hatred for David by trying to teach him a lesson, by trying to understand him and convey his deep sadness for the loss of his son, whilst also almost trying to forgive David and himself. Even Saïd Taghmaoui as Anwar, the interpreter for Abdallah, it gives a nice touching performance in his small role. As does Christopher Abbott here, playing Tom Day, A man who just literally wants to have fun and decides to flirt and push his limits with the vulnerable Joe. As I say, the whole cast are on point here, and that's really what makes this film stand out. The cinematography of the film is stunning, with breathtaking shots of the Moroccan landscape and the opulent interiors of the estate. The use of light and shadow is also notable, creating an atmosphere of tension and ambiguity that heightens the emotional impact of the story. The themes explored in The Forgiven are complex and thought-provoking. The film raises questions about morality, privilege, and the nature of forgiveness. It explores the dynamics of power and colonialism, as well as the impact of past traumas on the present. Overall, for me, The Forgiven is a compelling and powerful film that showcases the talents of its cast and crew. It's a thought-provoking meditation on the complexities of human nature and the pursuit of redemption, whilst also highlighting the contrasts within cultures. From its excellent performances, superb cinematography, and fascinating story, The Forgiven gets a 9 out of 10.